I mean, either way, I'm feeling very good today. Feeling very fired up. And a lot of you have asked me actually, yo, Leroy, why? I think that's better. I think that's a lot better. Why do you keep your microphone so low, like away from your mouth? Well, because when you bring it closer, then it just gets like very loud, you know. And yeah, I don't want that. You know, I tend to speak a lot when I get nervous sometimes. Or I get really quiet. I think I actually get more quiet. I don't know why that's relevant. But you know, I've been quite nervous the last couple of weeks, months actually, ever since the 7th of October, after the stuff that happened in Israel. For any of you that don't know, I was actually in Gaza for 2 months. I was on the 7th of October. I went to fight in a place called Kfar Gaza. You know, so many things, so many people that you're not supposed to see. I've seen what some people can do to other people, and it's quite scary. It really is quite scary. And I try not to, you know, think about it too much. I really do push it to the side. You know, Bill Burr has this joke about it where he's like, you know, you just, as a man, you kind of just take, you know, things and you just fucking just stuff it in there and then one day it just fucking comes out and then it bursts and then you're fucked. You're not really fucked, but you know, you know what I mean. You know, I'm pretty open about my feelings overall, and I've really had a difficult time trying to figure out who it is that I am and what it is that I believe in this Israel Hamas Israel-Palestine conflict, you know. And you know, there's been a lot of times where I've thought to myself, actually, you know, maybe you're wrong. Maybe you're wrong, Leroy. Maybe you actually are fighting for the wrong thing, you know. And I'm not someone that is afraid to say that. I'm not someone that is like, you know, to tell my mom or my family, like, listen, I don't agree. I think we're fighting against the wrong thing here. And you know, I did a lot of introspection, and I looked around and I listened to a lot of people, and I listened to, you know, what's good and what's not good. And I really asked myself, you know, am I agreeing with something because I want to be liked by other people, or am I actually agreeing with something because it's what I believe? And you know, I listened to many people, as I said before. I had many conversations, and you know, I keep coming back, you know, to just feeling like, you know, I have done the right thing and I fought for the right thing. And I think the way that I've known this and my guiding factor has been hate. You know, I feel very strongly against hate. I don't hate anything and I don't hate anyone. And I feel like walking around with that in your heart really weighs you down. You know, the moment you hate something, it's a big part of your, I want to say, mental bandwidth and energy that you put out, that, you know, is something, it's energy that you could be using on something else, because hate is a very, very, very powerful energy. And, you know, call me right wing and call me conservative or this or that, but I don't even believe I'm that conservative, man. I'm very soft spoken. I feel deeply, and I hate offending people, you know. But being afraid to offend people means, how can I say this? It means compromising, because you can't compromise your whole life. You have to stand up at some other stage for something that you believe in. Whether it, I don't know, something happens to you on the street, you know, and let me use a better example. Something happens to your kid, right? They're bullied in school, and you're like, yeah, but it's okay, you know, just leave it. And it's like, well, no, it's your child. You know, you need to be able to stand up for your child. And it's one thing to say that, okay, I'm going to stand up for my child, you know, when it's born. It's like, it doesn't work like that. Okay, you're not going to get confidence when you get money. You're not going to get confidence when you get a six-pack. You get confidence because you build up all of this evidence that you are who you say you are. You know, and you need to practice it. You literally need to practice it. Anyway, I'm diverging a little bit from the point here, and I look back at everything, and I look back at what we were fighting for, and some people might call me a conservative. I don't feel they're conservative, but I do feel like I need to stand up for what I believe in, and I need to say something in the face of lies when no one else would be willing to say anything. Israeli society is very funny that way, because Israelis understand what's happening in Israel, but they don't necessarily know what's happening out in the real world, out in the rest of the world. Excuse me. And me being an English speaker and being in the army and standing Israeli society, I can honestly say like what I think and how I see it. And this is the thing that I see about Israelis, is that there's no compromise here. There is no compromise at all. These people do not take shit from anyone. And they're not going to take shit from anyone. Because the moment you take shit from anyone is the moment that everyone else starts taking advantage of you. And unfortunately, the Middle East is a very, very tough place, as we've seen and as we know. And I've kind of been, shy about it, and I've kind of not completely admitted who and what I am. I would meet new people on my travels, and I wouldn't tell people that I'm Israeli. I wouldn't tell people that, I've fought in Gaza, and I fought for this thing, this ideology, for my country, my nation, my people. And, then I take some introspection again, and then I realize, but, you're lying to yourself. And then I wonder, but maybe I don't really believe in this. But then I come back and I'm like, well, I do believe in this. I do believe in Israel, and I do believe in our right to exist. I've had to ask myself a lot of questions, because I think that fundamentally a lot of this comes down to two things. And the one is naivety and stupidity. And the other thing is people that actually hate Jews and actually hate Israel. There are many, many Muslim nations in the world, Muslim countries. And most of them do not have good conditions to live in. And most of them don't want to be lived in. No one actually wants to live there. And most people that live there usually want to flee from there. Controversial opinion, I know, but it's the truth. Okay? And, now you get this small little place in Israel that a bunch of Jews have gone and have created this country, this very progressive country, this democracy, this place with liberal rights, with gays and with transsexuals and with different religions and with different everything. And this country prospers in the Middle East, and their people live well, and there's medical aid, and you can go out to the shop and you can buy all of these amazing products, and you sleep in your room and you have aircon, and you switch the TV on, and there's great channels to watch, and there's arts and there's theater, and you're living a good life. There's warm water. God, warm water is like incredible. The fact that you can shower warmly, it's like, man, I don't know what it has to be like to just have cold water all the time. I think it would suck, and now you have the rest of the world standing up against Israel and against Western ideology and its patriarchy and its problems, and everything sucks, right? Everything sucks. Everything about the way that we are living sucks. And Hamas is right because they are freedom fighters. And the Palestinians are victims because Israel is bombing them and is committing genocide, and it's just a disaster, man. It's a disaster. And you see these things and you start to agree with it. I'm a victim too. I'm Jewish. I'm a victim too. Everyone hates me, and modern day capitalism has fucked me, and there's all of these big corporations and everything sucks and we can't do anything about it. But we don't look at the other side of it. We don't look at the side of, well, what has this brought me? And what kind of privileged position was I born into? What do I have? What have I gained from just where I was born, from who I am, from the ideology that has helped me get to where I am today? Because believe me, it is the best that we have at this stage. It might not be the best ever, it might not be the perfect solution, but it is the best that we've found to this stage. And then you get this country, Israel, that stands up for this exact ideology, this Western free ideology, that stands up for it, and that decides to go to war for its people. Now, don't get me wrong, this wasn't a war on money specifically, although there are many wars that have been started because of money. This is a war that was started because of people. Because people were killed. Because people were taken. And there's almost this expectation of Israel to just sit back and say, well, you know, maybe we deserve this. Maybe we shouldn't do anything. That's kind of strange to me, man. And I'm like, well, no, that's not how it works. You know? And then you get back to, you know, the overall message of things, and you look at, you know, the amount of civilians that's been killed, and the people that Israel has bombed, and you know, the refugee camps, you know, that's been exploded, and the hospital that was, you know, bombed, and this and that, and it's just it's incredible. It's incredible the amount of stuff that Israel has done wrong. And then I sit there and I think to myself, but why is this happening? Why is Israel so bad, man? Jesus, this country's bad. They kill a lot of people, you know, and so many civilians have been killed, and you know, and then you think to yourself again, and then it's like, well, you know, on the 7th of October, it was very uncertain what had happened and how many people had been killed, and I think it took Israel something like 3 months until they actually figured out how many people had been killed on the 7th of October. And then they could give an official number, and how, you know, I'm sure it took them a while to actually know which people were taken, which hostages were taken, and which ones are alive maybe, which ones are killed maybe. And by some miraculous way, you know, Hamas just knows after an hour how many people have been killed in an airstrike or in a bombing, or, you know, when after they sent rockets from a refugee camp into Tel Aviv, somehow we just, you know, they just know after 1 or 2 hours how many people were killed. You know, they have some great technology and some great numbers to know how exactly they do these things, you know. And yeah, it's all the fault of Israel, and it's all the fault of the Jews, you know. And you know, Israel is committing this genocide, and Israel is an apartheid state, and they want to kill people, and they're just so bloodthirsty, you know. They just want to eradicate the Palestinian population. And again, these things pop up, and you think about them, and you wonder, well, what did I fight for the right thing, man? Because I'm not sure, man. And then again, you know, you go back to the truth, and you go back to what's actually happening, you know. And, you know, Israel is committing genocide. Israel has been committing genocide since 2008, but the Palestinian population in Gaza has doubled since 2008, you know. So they're doing a pretty bad job of committing genocide, if that's the case. And, you know, Israel's also an apartheid state, as we all know. But, you know, Israel has Christians, and Israel has Muslims, and Israel has Jews living all in the same country, who have the same rights, who can go to the same schools, and they go to the same doctors, and they can be members of parliament, and they can change laws, and everyone is, everyone is equal in a democracy, supposed to be. And then on the other side of the fence, you have Hamas, a nihilistic terrorist group that just wants to, it literally says that they want to kill Jews. They're almost happy when they do kill Jews, but they are the freedom fighters. They are the people that want to actually want the freedom. They are the proper people. And then I ask myself again, well, am I fighting for the right thing? And I ask myself again, do you walk around with hatred in your heart? And the answer is no, I don't walk around with hatred in my heart. But it doesn't seem that way, though, on the opposite side of the fence. It seems like the killing of Jews, and it's not just the killing of Jews, it's just the killing. When Hamas came into Israel on the 7th of October, it wasn't just Jews, it was everything and anyone. Whether it was an Arab living in Israel, a Muslim, whether if it was a cow in just a field, whether if it was a Thailand worker working, in Israel, they just killed, they just destroyed. And I don't think that is the way I would want to live. I don't think that is the people I would want to live under as my leaders. But to what cost? At what cost do you do these things, and at what cost are you willing to fight for freedom? And I think that at all costs. I think that is the answer. I think I don't think there is how can I say this? A proportionate response to doing something like that. I think that it's a Islamic jihad is a very, very dangerous ideology, and it's funny because you go ask any Jew in Israel, well, I'm not going to say any Jew, if you had to ask most Jews in Israel if they are for a two-state solution, they would say yes, definitely. If we can live in peace with the Palestinians, we will go and we will make two states, and hey man, maybe we can even prosper. Maybe we can have like good trade with each other. Maybe we could build something together. That would be really good. And then you go to the other side of the fence and you ask the Palestinians, well, what do you think about a two-state solution? And they're like, nope, all of the Jews dead. All of the Jews dead. No Israel. Jews are bad people. We don't want them. We kill them. It's like, what? That's not, I don't think that's how it's supposed to work. And Jews have always been hated in society for some other reason. When Jews are in society, then if they're not part of the society, then they need to be more part of the society. When they're too much a part of the society, they need to have their own states and get out. Now that they have their own state and they get out, no, they're doing too much. And it brings me back to this point of, and now you have all of these people, which I don't know, either really hate or are really naive, that support Hamas, support the Palestinian effort, and they just don't actually understand what's happening. And it's actually quite funny because it's quite hypocritical, really, because there's a lot of things happening in the world at large, and there's many wars, and there's many genocides going on in the world, and when the Syrian president was bombing his own civilians with chemical weapons, there's the Syrian civil war, no one said a thing. No one went out to the streets to protest. No one was against I can't remember what his name is, but no one was going against, this Syrian man that was just literally killing his own people. And then you take a look at Yemen with the Houthis and with Saudi Arabia, and you ask yourself again, well, well, people there are super malnourished. People there, don't have they don't eat. They're dying. People are being killed by a sort of proxy U.S. war. Through Saudi Arabia. The U.S. is giving Saudi Arabia weapons. Saudi Arabia is killing people there, and it's why isn't anyone going to the streets to protest against that? That's weird. It's kind of a genocide. It's kind of being a lot of killing happening for not no or maybe unfair reasons. It's hypocritical. It's literally hypocritical. And you ask yourself, well, is this because people are just naive, or maybe do people just actually hate Jews and they don't understand what's happening there? When you call for from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. You ask people from which river to which sea, they don't know. They ask people, well, what do you know what that chant actually means? And they say, no. Well, it means all of the eradication of Jews from the river of Jordan to the sea. I think it's the Mediterranean or the Red Sea. The point is it's the eradication of Jews in Israel. A peaceful nation that just wants peace, and most people will call us bloodthirsty and warmongers and this and that, but it's not true. I'm sorry. And I think Israel is one of the proudest nations in the world, and they're very proud of who they are, and they're very proud of their religion. And I also think that they are very proud of the diversity that is inside of the country. Because in Israel, you can be anything that you want to be. So again, come back and I ask myself, well, Leroy, are you seriously fighting for the right side? No one else was standing up for the Syrians. No one else was standing up for the Yemenites. I hope that's what you call them, people in Yemen, But the moment the Jews, go to war for, honestly, just a crime against humanity, it's not okay. No, you can't fucking do that. Don't do that. No. You're bad. Don't do that, Yeah, I feel like we're actually going backwards, because now people are just hating Jews for no reason. People are just going against us again. At least this time we have a way to defend ourselves, And it's time that people actually wake up and realize what's happening here. Because there's a lot of hypocrisy going on. Because the same ideology that allows you to go to the streets and protest is the same ideology that Hamas once destroyed. The same ideology that allows you to go on to social media and see all of these videos and deliver your opinion is the same ideology that Israel is fighting for. Israel is fighting for that. Israel is fighting for freedom, democracy, Western values. And it seems like us as people, it seems like the West is almost, ashamed of this ideology, and we're ashamed of the things that we've done in the past, and we're ashamed that we came to Palestine and we took over the land and made it a prosperous land. Well, at least not that, but it's almost like the West has become ashamed of itself. And Israel is standing up for that. Israel is standing up for its values, for its ideals, and it's just been very difficult for me to actually stand up and say, you know what, I believe in what I believe in, and I am Jewish, I am Israeli, and I fought in Gaza, and I fought for the right thing. I fought for freedom. This war could have been over, and Hamas could have accepted a peace deal with Israel and released most of the hostages, or all of them, and they chose more war. And is that also Israel's fault? Is that I don't know whose fault that is. But it just seems like every time this happens, Israel gets to blame again, and when they're suffering of the Palestinians, it's Israel to blame again, and it's Israel that wants Palestinians killed, but no one looks at Hamas and is like, hey man, what the fuck, you know? Maybe let's not carry on with this. Maybe let's actually try and build two states. You know, we need a two-state solution. We need a two-state solution for the Palestinians now. Okay, fine. That's fine. Give us someone to talk to. Give us someone to communicate with. Give us someone that we can actually make a deal with. Give us a proper leader. Like, okay, yeah, Hamas is the leaders. Hamas is the same group that took their political opposition in the 2000s and threw them off buildings and killed them just so that they could stay in power. And the same leaders of Hamas aren't even in the country that is at war. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And they're living rich, luscious lifestyles in Qatar while their people are being killed in Gaza. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And, you know, and there's just lies and deceit from everywhere. From Hamas, from the media, and the media believing Hamas, and these people that are going to the streets and protesting against Israel. And it's just like, well, you know, if you went to protest where Hamas was in control, they would probably kill you. So, is this a good ideology? I don't think so, man. I don't think this is the way you would want to live. All I can say is I'm proud of what I've done. I'm proud of what I've did. I know that I carry no hate in my heart, and I know that, you know, it's very difficult on Israeli society, and it's very difficult on the Palestinians, and I feel very, very deeply for the Palestinian people, and I really want there to be peace between us and them, you know. I want there to be a two states. I want it to just, you know, whatever the way is to peace, I want it, man. But I'm not willing to sacrifice freedom and my ideology and my way of living for that. And I don't think it's a bad way of living. I think most people would prefer the Israeli Western way of living. And I think it's worth fighting for. I really do. I don't carry hate around in my heart. I've said this before. Say it again. And that is what I'm fighting for. It's for a better future. It's for better than yesterday. We don't need perfect. We just need better than yesterday. And I hope, I don't know who this reaches. I don't know who watches this. But I just hope that, you know, it reaches at least some people. And I really want you to think about the things that you say and the things that you do, because it's a lot more damaging than you might think it is. Jews are good people. I think we should stop having so much hate against them. Thank you for anyone who was watching this. An opinion piece, strong opinions. Don't be a hypocrite, man, you know. Listen to everything I said, because it's quite important. Thank you for listening.